Two, one. Hello and welcome back to the House of Influence. And I am here with Bonnie Lee. And Bonnie was here a few months ago and we were working on a book together. And we're going to talk about that today. Hello, Bonnie. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. And where are you? Where in the world are you?
I am in Owasso, Oklahoma, in the United States.
Okay.
Yes.
Very
Yeah,
good. Very good. And tell us a little
yeah.
bit about yourself, Bonnie, just for our audience so they know who you are.
So, as you said, my name's Bonnie Lee. I am a licensed professional counselor. I work at several counseling things right now. I have a private practice and I work with first responders and trauma. I work through the satir model. I see a lot of couples. Yeah, so just all of the counseling all of the time.
And I know you're really, really busy. So
Yes. Yes.
that's lovely. That's lovely. So, Bonnie, you were here in May, along with Jennifer and I think it was eight other or seven other therapists, and we were
Yes.
working on a book together. And that book was talking about the reciprocal benefits of working with our clients. So tell
Yes.
us a little bit about your experience when you were here at the House of Influence.
It was it was just so lovely. I didn't know, I had never written before.
Mhm.
And so I didn't know. I play a game with myself that says, I wonder if I'm a person who. So when Jennifer talked to me about maybe being part of the book project, I thought, I wonder if I'm a person who could be an author. And so then I thought maybe I would see about that. So I came and it was just so lovely to be there, and the other therapist and in the whole creative environment, and with your suggestions and encouragement, and getting to just have that space and freedom to brainstorm and go back and brainstorm some more and be encouraged. And it was just lovely, absolutely lovely.
That's wonderful. I just, as you know, I love the whole experience, and I was just talking to Karina just recently, and she was telling me about how she came thinking that she was going to write one thing, and then she ended up
Yes.
writing something quite different. Is that what happened to you? What were you thinking you were going to write about?
I don't even remember what I was thinking I would write about, but but it's absolutely not what I ended up writing about. And I'm so glad. I'm so glad I ended up writing what I did. And that was that was, I was sitting with you and you said, "Oh, no, wait." All the things that I had been saying, you said, "That's not your story. That's your story. Now go write it." And so I kind of went, "Oh dear, now what do I do?" And so I went and wrote it.
That's wonderful, and I love that you're going to be the first chapter in the book because you're really introducing the whole concept of therapy, and you're introducing your involvement with the Satire Institute and that type of counseling. So tell us a little bit about that and why it's different to other types of therapy.
Well, I think that up until I became trained in satir and had the experience that I've had, therapy tends to be a lot of in the head,
Mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm.
So what I think impacts what I believe, and then that impacts my behavior. And so then if I impact my behavior, that affects my thoughts, that affects my beliefs, or any way. And that's all really good. And
Mm-hmm.
satir utilizes that. But what satir does that's different is using the iceberg model that part of the head is the very tip of the iceberg. And
Mm.
all of the part of the iceberg that's below the water that we don't see. So the feelings and feelings about feelings, all the way down to who I really am, all the way down to the self level. And Julian, it's down at that place, when we touch that place, that's when we get transformational change. We don't just
Mm.
get a shift in behavior, but we get an awareness and a knowing and a becoming of who I really am. And that's what we really want therapy to be about, isn't it? Or I
Wow,
think
wow.
it
And
is.
it makes it so human, right?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
I that's what I really observed from listening to your story, and also listening to the other therapists talk about how, you know, you're humanizing therapy, because there's a little bit of a stigma with therapy, right?
Yes. And so a stigma of being that, um if someone goes to therapy, then it's because they're crazy, or because they can't manage their own lives, or because
Mm.
you all of the things that
Yes.
we all know that you should be able to figure it out, all of those things. And the reality, I believe, is that therapy is what healthy people do. just
Right.
like just like if there's something in my physical body that's not going just right, I'm going to probably go to a doctor or a healer, or something. I'm going to do something because it causes me pain,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yes.
But we seem to consider our emotions and our spirit as completely different.
Yes.
And 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 it's not different. When something is hurting me in my spirit, in myself, um or I can't figure something out, I don't know what to do,
Yes.
um that's what a healthy person is going to do, is to try to find the answers. And
Yes.
so therapy is a beautiful coming with someone,
Mm-hmm.
right? To
Yes.
not to have someone tell you what to do, not to have someone come and tell you what to do or give you advice, but just as another human to be with,
Right.
as you sort this out for yourself. And I think that's really lovely.
That's such a beautiful way of expressing it. And for you, what do you get back from your patients?
I get well, for one thing, I get the honor, which is sacred, of being in that space as someone works to try to figure it out. And so that is sacred work. So I
Yes.
get there's an honor to that. But I also receive the continual encouragement and inspiration of continuing and pursuing my own becoming,
Right.
right? So
Right.
as they click onto something and they have an awareness, then it inspires me. Oh, that that is something that I also am continuing on. And so it's just a beautiful flow. It's just a beautiful flow back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. So there was magic that happened when you were here.
Yes.
It's incredible to hear all the stories of how that week and sharing our stories together actually really changed our lives. So like it
Yeah.
made us, enriched us, and turned us into different people. So there's been pretty special things that happened, right, since then. So what about you? How did that retreat impact you? What made you how what's happened to you since May, since you were here?
I think it it was so humbling to hear the vulnerability and the depths that the other therapists and authors were willing to go to
Mhm.
share their stories. And so the impact that has had on me, as I've continued to and continuing to process, is the awareness that my vulnerability, as their vulnerability was, is a gift.
Yes.
It's a gift, and we tend to think of it as, oh, I can't say that, I can't do that, because then what, that person might think that, or that someone's going to think I'm weak or whatever. But it's so not. What happened in
Mhm.
that week, partly for me, was the awareness of the gift of being authentic and vulnerable and willing to share the difficult things, and how that encourages others to be able to do the same. And that's where we get connection. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And that's really the focus of your chapter, isn't it? You're really talking about, you know, giving yourself permission to turn up to with your
Yeah.
patients as the real you,
Yes.
the
Yes.
real Bonnie.
Yes. And that has been the work that began at that first satir training that I write about. That is continuing, ongoing work that I hope, I expect will continue for the rest of my life. And up until that point, I I didn't I didn't know, I didn't recognize who Bonnie really was. She was a lot of different roles and did a lot of different things,
Mhm.
but that is uniquely, divinely who I am. I had never really met before. And
Wow.
yeah,
Isn't that amazing?
yeah,
You can come to Mexico and meet yourself.
absolutely, absolutely. Yes, yes, and continue to deepen that experience of knowing. Yeah.
And you're going to be back here in a couple of months.
Yes, yes, I am, and I'm very excited. I'm very excited. I'm excited to launch the book. I'm excited to talk more about my chapter. I'm excited to audition for the TEDx talks and
Yes.
see see all of the other authors, along with some of their special people that they're bringing with them.
Yes.
And so that just is. I'm very excited about that.
It's going to be a really beautiful celebration, and
Yes,
I'm very excited. And you know, and it kind of wasn't planned, but it just turned out that way. And now I'm like, oh, I love this, you know, that you come in May and you write
yes,
the book together, you know, in 1 week basically. And then in the meantime you've been working with the editor Erin. And how's that been
yes.
for you with the
She
editing?
has she has been she has been so lovely. That was very intimidating, and I got my chapter back and I kind of went, oh no. And then and so as I've communicated with her, and she has just shaped what I was trying to, what I wanted to say into this
Mm.
beautiful, beautiful, um, beautiful chapter.
Yes.
More than what more than I was able to say, the way that she's helped. And then I said, well, I think that maybe some of the story might come together at such and such time. And she said, it's a common mistake that authors make, thinking that, oh, one more thing, and then I'm going to be able to complete that thought. And I went, oh, you called me an author and said I did something that's common for authors to do. And I was so excited.
Oh, that I love that. I mean, I love to inspire people and tell them, you know, that, you know, to be an author, all you need to do is tell your story. It's as simple as that, because it's the editor's job to make your story sound like really good writing, right? And that's
And
exactly what you're saying.
and I appreciate you so much of that. That's one of the first things you said to us when we all got there. And I thought, what? You mean I don't have to know where all the commas go? That's crazy. And so
Yes.
going through the editing and the rewriting process has been really beautiful. And yeah, I'm really grateful for
That's
all of it.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm excited to see you back here in a couple of months, and excited to
Yes.
help you turn your chapter into a TED Talk. So that is going to be very exciting.
I'm very excited for that as well, Julianne. And I thank you so much. And I appreciate all that you all that you have done and all that you are creating for others to come and create and experience as well.
Thank you, Bonnie. And I'm going to say goodbye because I know that you are seeing your son in a moment. So thank you so much for joining us today. And if anybody wants to get hold of you, what is the best way for people to connect with you?
The best way is through my email, yourstoriesmatter23@gmail.com.
yourstoriesmatter23@gmail.com.
That's it. Yes.
Thank you, Bonnie. And I'll see you in a couple of months.
All right. Thank you. Bye.